Super. Let's come. Al, longevity, immortality.
That's the big kahuna for transhumanists. Yeah, you go ahead.
Sure. Yes. Let's see. What can I say about that? That's interesting. Yeah. No. That's long been a core interest of transhumanists, and in fact, I think that if you gather any group of transhumanists, that's probably the core focus of most of them, I would say. What I can say that's interesting about it, I don't know. I'm at a loss. I'll pass.
Well, I think that there's a lot of research in this area. As we discussed earlier, they've shown that mammals can have their lives extended beyond the presumed biological limits. There's Google has a well-funded project. Actually, it's not. They're putting money into another company that's semi-independent of Google.
Calico? Is that?
Yeah, Calico. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of work in this area, and just recently, I think maybe about 3 or 4 months ago, the FDA actually approved some tests for a drug that people hope might have the ability to extend biological lifespan. I mean, and the point, of course, is that these are attempts to this is health extension, and these are attempts to stop aging, slow down aging, or reverse aging. So the point isn't for people to keep getting older and more decrepit for tens of thousands of years, but the point is to keep people young and to thereby eliminate or lessen the diseases that are associated with aging. And I think, I mean, this is the thing for one of transhumanism's critics likes to call transhumanism a robot cult. But I think he's confusing transhumanism with singularitarianism. So transhumanism is the immortality cult, and singularitarianism is the robot cult. So critics get that straight.
Cool. But the thing is, we've been extending our lives. Was it you, Jay, that sent you? A toothbrush is a life extension tool. I can't remember. It was one of the chats from the when I came to the rally, and it's like we already have technology that extends life. Cooking food extends your life because you can.
Right. Yes, it's
so it's like some people don't realize that we are already using tech to extend our lives. It's just another thing.
Well, of course, it's a continuum, and we tend to take for granted certain things. You know, we modify our environment by wearing clothes and building houses, and it is kind of funny because sometimes in discussions, you'll have people commenting on a website about the perils of technology as they sit and tap on their computer over the internet, and tell us how technology is this really awful, dangerous thing, and that's been one of the eternal struggles, one of the yin-yang struggles of human existence, is the people who want to improve things and promise the wonders of technology in one degree or another, and then the people who say no, that's not a good idea for one reason or another. And while R.U. and I are both pretty much generally techno-optimists, we're both aware that the history of this it's not that cut and dried. Many times throughout history, people have made wonderful, optimistic claims about how, the telegraph was going to end war because countries would no longer they would have an instant way of communicating with one another, so there wouldn't be those miscommunications that brought war. And then, of course, dynamite was so terrible it was going to end war. The machine gun was so terrible it was going to end war. The airplane was going to end war. The nuclear bomb was going to end war. There were some people who thought that the internet in the 1990s was definitely going to bring about an era of peace and understanding. So I think one of the things that we talk about in the book one of the overall themes of the book is to be optimistic, to be hopeful, to look at the way things might change for the better, but to at the same time be aware that things are often overhyped. They come later or in flawed forms than people thought. They don't necessarily do everything that one hopes they will do.
Yeah, I want to add that at this conference that we were at yesterday, there was a person presented a wonderful chart that showed that something like 50% of humanity, or even more than that, used to die from infectious disease, and maybe 1% of humanity used to die from old age. And now it's like 1% of humanity dies from infectious disease, and a much larger percentage of humanity dies from old age. So we've extended life sort of to the limits of what is perceived as our outside potential. Lots of people living into their 90s now, and a number of them living into their 100s and so forth.